Floor is yours.
What about, we talked to one of the players, someone asked a question about learning how to win.
Yeah.
Your team. Now you're playing a team, going to play a team that's picked like 13th in the ACC. My point being is you reach the point where this is a game on paper you should go win, but like you said, you haven't won much. So how's that all, when you talk to your team and expectations, how's that work?
Yeah, obviously, first of all, Wake Forest gets better with every single game they play. We finished 13th in our conference last year, obviously, and I think that for the most part, towards the end of the year, we were pretty competitive. It just goes to anytime you're playing a Power 5 or Autonomy 5 opponent, it's going to be a game. We're on their home floor. This is an opportunity for us to build on learning how to win on the road. We've got, back-to-back road games. We're going to face a team that's going to have a lot of pride, that's going to protect their home court, and it's the first year of the ACC SEC Challenge. You tell me they're not going to be jacked up for that? Sure they are. And I have a lot of respect for what they're doing. So it's about focusing. It's about continuing to get better and move the needle. But again, it's another business trip where we've got to be locked in, focused, and ready to go.
How much have these road wins, and I guess these future road wins are coming up, kind of preparing this team for when conference play starts?
I think they're huge. They're invaluable. We had early turnarounds in California. We've got a late game, on Thursday night. All these things are things that could happen in the tournament. We could play an 11 o'clock tip or a 12 o'clock tip, and we could play the late game depending on just the seeding we have. And so I love it. I think as much adversity as we can have, it benefits us at the end of the day when it comes to learning how to wake up really early or keep your mind focused all day long for a late game. It's going to come into play again at some point later. And so all those things just continue to help add things in our tool bag for when we need it later.
Have you seen a difference in growth of the team, let's say, back in the Purdue game to where you guys are at now?
I think so for sure. One of the things that really stands out to me is Friday we play Winthrop, and obviously we come back, we shower, they get off their feet, and then we meet at like 7:30 to talk about Cal, and we have an hour the next day to just walk through their stuff. And so their ability to lock in and focus is huge at that point, and you've got to have a lot of mental reps in your scout and your film. And when we got to shoot around on Saturday morning, like their ability, they knew all the plays, they had all the play calls, they had all the tendencies down. I mean, you could just tell there was a different level of lock-in and focus that they had about it. And I think that is because of some of the lessons we learned at Purdue.
How much do you think that also has to do with the team buying in and the chemistry that this group seems to have?
It's a lot to do with it, I think. And I'll say the first thing is I think Purdue shocked them. I'm not going to say it shocked us as coaches, but I think they were shocked and embarrassed. Not that Purdue is not a good team, but just in how we responded to being hit in the mouth. And so I don't think they want to feel that again. And so they've just taken things a lot more seriously since then. And their ability to hold each other accountable because of the chemistry they have, because of how close they are, it's really good in times like that. All right, make sure you know your scouting report. Make sure you can't do this now. Like they just are really good about calling each other up in those moments.
And then India, obviously solid performance, tournament MVP. She said she's still not playing her best basketball yet. So, I mean, what have you seen from her that you like, and what else is she capable of?
I would agree with that. I mean, I've watched India go like 25 shots in a row before she misses, and I don't mean like with nobody on her. I mean, like in scrimmages and practices, so she's shooting it better, but every time she shoots it, I think it's going in. That's the type of shooter she's capable of being. I think she's really working hard to be a good defender. I think she's really working hard to manage the team and get everybody touches. And so I think she's got a lot on her mind. As she continues to have a command of what it is we're doing, continue to be more comfortable taking shots. We're encouraging her to take more shots. I still think she passes up shots. She's just someone who's going to be fun to watch and really can stretch the floor for us.
Janiyah said after the Cal win, you told the team, act like you won the Brazil. Well, we haven't.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Do you see a difference of how the team is now to compared to what they were last year?
So obviously the game is winding down. It is over, and they are jumping off the bench. They're screaming and they're yelling, and I am naturally, it was a tough game. It was a hard-fought game. I'm trying to go to the Cal bench and shake their hands, and I'm like, act like you've been here before. And she looked at me, and KK looked at me, and they're like, we haven't been here before. And I was like, you're right. I've got to take a step back and celebrate this. I'm always, what's next, what's next, what's next. And I was really glad that they said that to me because I needed to let them enjoy that moment. I think they've worked so hard to get to that place. Can you imagine not winning a road game at all last year? We had a hard time. Now we grew a lot, we learned a lot, but at the end of the day, we're all competitors. It's tough not winning. And so for them to string back-to-back games together on the road in that type of environment, they gave me some truth serum that I needed to enjoy the moment.
Isn't that a little bit like Janiyah, who she is a little bit? She's kind of like,
Yeah.
like you say, certain people, the face of programs, whatever, but isn't that kind of like her role, one of her many roles?
It is one of her many roles. You know, she always is able to, I think we do that for each other. I think there's times where I'm like, hey, and she's like, okay, you're right, I got you. And then there's times where she says things to me and I'm like, you know what? You're right, I got you. And that was one of those moments.
Coach, you want to talk about Sunday's game?
Yeah, so obviously I don't know if I'll see you guys before Sunday, but Kansas is coming to town. Huge game for us. But in addition to that, what's most important is that we're going to honor Coach Blair at halftime for being inducted into the Hall of Fame and also just for everything he's done here at Texas A&M. So we're excited to do that at halftime. He's got some family coming in town, and so just wanted to make sure you guys knew that we would be doing that, and we're excited to just, again, send him off in a really, really nice way.
And I know you don't want to look forward, but that's kind of a big game for you guys. Talking about your home crowd and everything like that. Because Kansas has recently played awful well. I don't know if you scheduled that on purpose, but just that game, I think if you could speak to the significance
Yeah.
of that game.
Well, Kansas is really good, number one. And they have size. They've got great guard play. They've got good forward play. I haven't spent a ton of time looking at their film. Obviously, our focus is Wake Forest right now. The other thing is that you always want to bring a really good opponent into Reed Arena for your fan base. You know, you think about a Sunday matchup against another Power 5 opponent, somebody that is possibly primed to go to the NCAA tournament. And you want your fans to enjoy games like that as well. So really looking for a great crowd to come and support us and also to support Coach Blair.
Coach, real quick, can you also just touch on keys for Wake Forest, what you think the team needs to do to win?
Yeah, number one, we've got to own our one-on-one matchup. Wake Forest has got a lot of individual players who are very talented, and if they get on a roll, if they get hot, we're in trouble. And so we've got to keep the crowd out of it. We've got to own our one-on-one matchup, and we've got to be sound in our defensive philosophy because they run a lot of 5 out. They also play 4 guards at times, and so we're going to have to be really diligent about dropping our butt on defense, sitting low, and some of our forwards are going to end up guarding guards a lot of the time, and so that's something that we've really got to take advantage of or make sure we are taking advantage of. And then offensively, same things. We want to play fast. We want to get the ball inside and then play inside out from there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.